Yeah, I was watching the game. There's a feeling that will they come back? Is this just one game too far? Obviously, after a cup final on Sunday, so I was a little bit nervous. But this team is starting to build a trust, I think, in the fans, a trust in sort of ourselves watching. I think opposition teams as well, that they're never out of a game. They've got a great spirit. They've got that sort of bounce back in them, and they never feel like they're beaten. I mean, there was a point last night, and we talk about him a lot now, but what Casemiro has done to that dressing room and to that team is off the scale. I mean, there was a free kick on the left-hand side that Bruno Fernandes had at one point, and Casemiro went and told him, pointed to the spot. I don't know if anybody remembers it. It was about 10, 15 minutes to go, and said, "Put it there, and I'm going to head it." And Bruno put it there, and he actually went and headed it, and the goalkeeper saved it. But he just looks at this moment in time like he's in complete control of that team. He looks like he's such a dominant force. And I heard Erik ten Hag say that, it's for dreamers about the title. I would agree with him. I feel myself that they're not going to win the title. But I wouldn't like Casemiro chasing me down. If Arsenal and City were to drop points in this next month or so, I wouldn't like Casemiro chasing me down in the running, because I think he's the type of person on his own in that club that could have a massive impact in terms of how Manchester United would approach it.
Taking the point about a quadruple, even the Premier League, as you say, being the stuff of dreams, possibly they're 14-1 with one bookmaker I've just checked. If they just came away with the Carabao Cup this season, is that still a successful first season for Ten Hag?
I think so. I mean, people may now have realigned their targets and sort of reassessed what Manchester United should achieve. But if you said to me top four and Carabao Cup, I would say that's a very successful first season for Erik ten Hag. I don't think we should lose sight of the fact of where Manchester United were in all our minds only a few months ago. However, I wouldn't put it past me if they went and picked up another trophy in one of the cup competitions. The FA Cup looks to have opened up a little bit. Obviously, Manchester City is still in there and a couple of other Premier League teams, but it's a lot easier than it looked a few weeks ago. And then obviously there's the Europa League that's got a lot of excellent teams still in it. So there's still a couple of opportunities. It wouldn't put it past, because the momentum's with them. And momentum is big in football, particularly at this time of the season.
Your point about Casemiro, Gary, if I asked you for United's most important players, the real key men, are we talking Rashford and Casemiro well ahead of the rest, or is anybody else in there in that very top echelon?
I'd go in order. I'd go Casemiro. I'd go Rashford. I'd go De Gea and Varane equal third at this moment in time. I feel to me, I can't believe I'm saying that, forget Casemiro, he wasn't here last year, but I can't believe that I'm saying that Varane, De Gea and Rashford have sort of elevated themselves now into a position whereby you feel they're in great form. Without them, that Manchester United, you saw last night, obviously De Gea makes saves, Rashford has to come on, Casemiro has to come on. Varane didn't come on, but I do feel like he's the most important centre-back now, particularly in the big matches, and that's why he was rested and gets rested for the bigger games. Obviously, he has injury problems sometimes and has done in the last 2 or 3 years, but Casemiro closely followed by Rashford, but then I'd go Varane and De Gea in third position equally.
De Gea's 32, I think I'm right in saying. You talked on the overlap about United's goalkeeping situation. David Ray from Brentford, a possibility, a little bit younger to come in. Does that need to happen sooner rather than later? Has De Gea got one more season in him? How would you see it?
It's a little bit. I have a particular view on goalkeepers. In every, we live in a world now of squads and of competition, and ordinarily you'd want 3 or 4 centre forwards, you'd want 3 or 4 centre backs, and you want there to be a competitive element to the actual squad. I'm not a great believer in having 2 equal goalkeepers and having sort of, if you like, a fight for the number 1 spot. I think you need to give real comfort to the number 1. You need to choose your number 1. You need to believe in them, and then you go with it. And then you have somebody who's happy to be subservient as a number 2, who's really competent, who can come in, obviously, if there's a sending off or if there's an injury. This idea that you have sort of 2 equal number 1s, I've never seen it work in football where one of them doesn't feel undermined. And then you don't have them, to be fair, knocking on the door, miserable on the bench, the manager feeling like if one makes a mistake, do I have to put the other one in? I don't like it. I've not liked it in any level of football. You need a definite number 1. So if Manchester United believe in David De Gea for another season, I would say you believe in him and you continue to have that sort of second fiddle, if you like, as being someone who's happy to be, if you like, playing 5-10 games a season and maybe only plays when the number one's David de Gea's injured or can't take part. So if they're going to go for a number one and replace David de Gea, get rid of David de Gea, bring a number one in. But if you're going to keep David de Gea, I wouldn't bring someone in who all of a sudden looks like he's going to take his spot, because I don't think it brings, to be fair, confidence to David de Gea, and it actually won't satisfy the new player coming in, because he'll want to play straight away if he's coming in for obviously decent money.